Hi, everyone. This is Lisette connecting Seattle con Austin.
And I'm Amanda. We are Dos Amigas talking everything F1. Welcome
Welcome
back.
back to another episode of
Circuitos y Chisme.
Yay, we're back. Finally, another race after another break.
Girl. Okay, so Lisa, this is not on immediately we're getting off the outline. This was not
Immediately.
immediately. This was not like on our topics of conversation, but we were just talking about how it's so hard to get momentum with this season and so many start stops.
We are
I'm
struggling,
like,
everyone. We're struggling to stay excited. Like we know we're heading into the thick of it, right? Less breaks and everything. But I mean, Amanda, it's just undeniable that all of the breaks in the race schedule, it's just really shifted I don't know, like the excitement around the
exactly.
races.
Yeah. It's like too much. And like I mean, war is like I mean, not unavoidable, but like, I mean, there was the war conflict. And then you have like all these other breaks, but like, man, this season has just been like so
Yeah,
with
we're
me.
we're getting whiplash. We're getting whiplash
I was like, we're back. And then we're gonna
and
have the
then
weekend
we're
off.
yeah, and then we're not.
It's wild. It's
I
wild.
know. I know. Are we the only ones or are the people out in the ethernet and the internet feeling the same way?
Ethernet.
Because we'll talk a little bit about this. And we were talking about this yesterday too, about just the viewership in general, right? And how,
Yeah.
I mean, we can get into this, but I like
Let's
dug
get
and dug
into
and
it.
dug and dug. Okay. So viewership is 100% down. It's undeniable. There is data. Um,
Yeah.
all the reports show that ever since F1 moved to Apple TV, the viewership is down.
For the US
For the
market, because there's a
US.
lot of
Yeah.
we'll clarify because I know people in other
I
markets are
know
going
they're
to
going to
be
be
like
like,
in
no,
other
it's not
regions, it's not like that. For the US, because we are based in los
for the
Estados
US.
Unidos, you guys. Okay.
Yes.
Extraño que I miss that. I miss it being on YouTube TV through ESPN. Not gonna lie, I really do miss that. I think
Yeah.
there's something lacking. I think there's also we've talked about this multiple times. I think there's something lacking with the way that the broadcast is happening and like the coverage that they I can't pinpoint it like exactly, but I'm just like,
I know we were
maybe it's like
talking
the
about this. We were like, we can't
I
pinpoint
know.
it. What is it? What is it? Something feels different. Something feels off. We can't pinpoint it, but it's undeniable that viewership is down. But it's not down because of the race, like pauses in the race schedule. Apparently, like they were trying to, do some polling and whatnot to show, like, is it because of all the missed races? And it's not. Apparently, the viewership is down because Apple TV is basically a big paywall, right? And if you don't
Yeah.
pay, you don't get to watch it. And it's expensive. Like it is not, I'm not saying it's more expensive than some of the other, streaming services, but Apple TV is a fairly new one and their content is less diverse than, like, let's say a Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to be paying a lot of money to maybe only watch F1 and you don't really get value out of the rest of the content. So I
Yeah.
can understand why
Yeah.
people don't want to pay. But yeah, I was actually really surprised to see how much the numbers for the Miami Grand Prix dropped because
Yes.
that's such a popular one. At least I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. The
but it
only
dropped
one
what,
that
like
had like an uptick,
68%?
yes, the only one that had an uptick was the first race of the season,
Yeah.
which like it's
It's
wild.
it's
Okay,
it's because people signed up for the trial and then the trial ran out and then yeah, that was it. It
yeah.
was
Well,
like
the other thing too is like there's some things that I like about the Apple TV race interface or whatever. Like they do a race recap, which is like the race in 30, which is kind of cool.
yeah.
But even like there's so much pre-race content, like even like fat I don't always watch that, y'all. I have a kid. We have shit to do. I don't have 4 hours to sit and like watch like 2.5 hours or 1.5 hours of like pre-race content plus the
It's
race plus the after
long.
race. It's just too much. And like
It's long.
with I used to watch the races through like YouTube TV when it was like broadcast through like ESPN, and like you can like fast forward in like chapters, or you could,
Mhm.
or like you could like DVR it to start like at like the right place. Like even just like the fast forwarding is annoying. And I also miss like the commentary that we used to have. And I know that you can change it, but as a parent that is like trying to squeeze in, a race on a very busy weekend, like I'm like, I'm not going to take more time to like do that. I guess I could
Figure this
probably like
out.
make some like, yeah, I could probably like invest some time into like setting this up for the next time. Like I'm sure there's presets or whatever. But again, this is too much
That
to
is a
do.
great this is a
This is too
great
much to
thing
do
though.
for a busy parent or like
And
anyone else that
look,
has like other things or hobbies, or like maybe you're a caregiver or like whatever. Like the barrier to entry now is a little too complicated, I think.
we need to tag Apple TV and F1 on our podcast because we're that important.
Listen to
And
us.
give us some, yeah, I mean, this is great feedback though, right? Like if there was a way to reset all of your default viewing preferences, it would just like remove that mental load, right? That women we carry all the time. And it's like great,
Yeah.
yet another thing, like I just want to watch what I want to watch and how I want to watch it, and now I need to like
Yeah.
go in there and I need to go and select all of my settings again just so that I can
Yeah.
view it with like the sky commentators, for example, or
Yeah.
with the
Or,
subtitles or whatever it is. Like there should be a
yeah.
like, or for the people that like watching it from like the dashboard, right, the onboard view, like
Yeah.
great,
Say
like
that.
save it, and then that's going to be your thing. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of room for opportunity, despite I mean, obviously we're going to keep watching. We're like barely through the middle of the season. I would never not watch it, but yeah, something just feels really off. I also, okay, multiple times throughout the, and like, are the races just actually more boring?
I don't
Because
know because again, we've talked about this. They're not showing us everything. And like
I,
the little yeah, I don't sometimes the borings feel racing. Ay Dios mío. The races feel boring.
but
But
sometimes
I
they
don't know if it's
do.
just I don't know. I don't know, maybe someone else that like watches it on like other platforms or whatever can tell us, but like yeah, I guess if you watch it on something else other than Apple TV, or you have a different like broadcast that you're seeing, I really want to know the difference. And like do you get like different coverage of like the track and like what's happening? Because
I don't know,
sometimes I
Amanda.
just feel like
I
it's
I
not,
don't think
yeah.
it's the broadcasting because okay, I think I messaged you. I watched the sprint race and I
Okay.
was baffled at how insanely uneventful and boring the sprint race was.
No,
I was
I
like,
didn't watch.
that was such a waste of time. I mean, it wasn't a waste of time. I don't want to sound that hypercritical, but I was frustrated after the race because I was like, that was the most boring sprint race I don't think I've ever
Well,
seen.
which is okay, but that's interesting too, because the sprint races are supposed to add an extra level of excitement, an extra level of racing. And so, like, if even that is not garnering, maybe this is like just one data point, but like it's supposed to be something else. You know what I mean? Like something
Yeah.
extra. And if it's
Yeah.
not, like, ugh.
The
Oh,
everyone was like praying for rain because there was like rain scattered throughout the whole forecast this weekend, except for like it changed up on race day. But everyone was like, oh my God, when it started raining towards the end. But then by that time, like everything had wrapped up. Everyone was like, oh no, like if only the rain came earlier. Like you're just
I
like
know.
begging for some action,
Something. Well, we did
something.
get wet conditions ish, like in the actual race. Do we want to move over? Oh no,
Yeah,
we have
let's
other
jump
things
into
to
our,
talk about. Wait, we have other things to talk about.
yes. Okay,
Las
let's start off
tóxicas.
con las tóxicas. Who are las tóxicas for us? Who are we referring to, Amanda?
Mainly, okay, for me, it's Carlos. Le gusta la mala vida. Homie
Le
is
gusta sufrir.
miserable.
Le gusta sufrir.
Seriously. He, Jesus Christ. He re-signed with Williams for an
A
unknown
multiple year.
multi-year contract. We talked about this when we were on the podcast with Emmy, when he and Alex Albon were giving like their pep talk during the during like the summer break. I was convinced that he had already given his 2 weeks notice and he was done.
I know.
That is not the look of a man that is
Who
committed.
is
You know
in
what
it?
I'm
Who
saying?
is in it? He's so checked out. But
Yeah.
money talks. Money talks.
I I need to know what James Vowles is promising and what he is saying. Like, what is he saying? Because Alex Albon also resigned. I think it was like for a year or two, like not multi-year. But I'm like, what?
I think it's
What
a
pipe dream
multi-tiered
is he
issue.
selling you?
And we talked about this with Emmy too. I think it's a
Yeah, tú dime.
multi-tiered situation. There's not a better team. I mean, they would be
Claro.
starting from scratch and probably suffering just as much for little to no money with no guarantee that they'll get better. So it's like, do I want to start over? It's like when you're looking at other job roles and you're like, oh, I guess I could transfer, but it's like,
The
actually,
devil
that's
you
like
know is better than the one you don't. Is that what you're trying to
Big
say?
that is what I'm saying. And then to not get more money than what you're actually making. So it's like, why do that, right? But it's also, I think that's the biggest part. And then obviously the money. The thing is, I don't think we saw how much Alex signed on for. Did you find any article that
No,
actually
I didn't I didn't dig
I
into it enough.
I think the day that Carlos announcement came out, I was looking to see what Alex's contract extension was valued at, and I couldn't find the information. But I
Hmm.
think at this point, what James is selling to them is look, we know we suck. What we're
But
asking of you is we're paying you a lot of money. You're not going to get championships, but you are going to shape and build this car with
girl,
us.
he has
I
been
think that's
promising
the
that since el principio though. Like que ha cambiado nada.
I don't know. Maybe more like marketing, more freedom
I
for them
need
to
to
like,
be.
I don't know.
Pero qué están haciendo de marketing that is that different? Like what contract? I have not seen well, I haven't seen the contract, but like from like a like L'Oreal perspective or like something like that. Like what else are they doing that they hadn't been able to do other places? But
I
I think you're
don't
onto
know.
something. I think you're onto something that there is not another better seat. So se van a quedar plantado. You know, they're gonna stay there. Like, but holy moly. I
But
was
but
like,
to your point though, Carlos did not have to sign a multi-year contract. It could have been for 1 year. Like Alex, it's like, all right,
that
like
part.
look, this year ain't looking good for another team, but who knows about, 2028. So I'll just do a 1 year extension. Like
Multi-year. I
Carlos.
mean, you can
Carlos.
always break a you can always break a contract, you know, but like,
Yeah, there's always exit
damn
clauses,
dog.
but
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
That was wild. Okay, another wild thing, what or not wild. Well, I guess kind of wild.
It kind of
Max
was
resigns with Red Bull after being seen
with Toto all
yachting.
summer.
I know. And then Toto goes, he's still a part of the Mercedes family because you know he races for them like in another series
Yeah,
and
GT.
I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? Like you over there he's over there giving false hope.
But did you see the interview where they asked Toto to comment on his like response or reaction to Max signing, and it was so like sheepish, like there was something that he just couldn't say. He didn't say it,
He
but
said
it
he's still
was
part of the family. That's what he
yeah,
said.
pero lo dijo, but even besides that, it was like I almost feel like he was hinting at something else that he just like obviously for contractual reasons like he's not going to say. I don't know. There's something fishy about the whole Toto Max situation that we just don't know. But
They're just like too close
2030,
for they're just like
2030.
I know they're too like chum chum. Also, do you feel like me being George's number one hater, but actually this week I'm not George's number one hater.
I know.
Um, but do you think he like breathed a sigh of relief and he was like,
Yes, are you kidding? He's like, "Damn, I just like bagged my girl. I need to make a living. I gotta pay for this, lifestyle."
that canary, that diamond ring?
That diamond is
Oh,
stunning.
okay. Segue. We're gonna get to the race eventually, you guys, I promise. I watched a video today where like it was George talking about his like Mercedes was interviewing him. It was like for like a reel or like a TikTok, and like they were interviewing him about like how he proposed to Carmen. And I love seeing a man in love, and that man loves her. Like he was getting emotional talking about designing the ring, about like where he did, like where
He
they proposed. I was like,
he's obsessed with her.
oh, I love George. Like I like that George. You know what I'm saying? I'm like
I
racing
also thought it
George.
was really
Ugh.
cute that he like asked Susie Wolf for help because he's like, I didn't know what to
Yes.
do about the ring. Like, I have no idea. Like, do I just, buy off the off the shelf? And I was like, of course he would go to Susie.
And of
It's
course
cute.
he said he had fun designing it, and I was like, of course you did. Like I
Of course he
think okay, I am really interested to see what George does after he ends, like after he's done racing. I'm really curious to know like what he ends up doing. Like he is a stylish dude. He's got class. Like I wonder if he goes like a la Nico Rosberg and like has like a lifestyle blog or something. I don't know. He's interesting. I think I want to know more about George outside of racing.
I feel like he
Still
would
not
end
my
up
favorite
working for
driver.
Carmen.
Oh, I could see him totally, he seems like a supportive man. I could totally see him being like, that's my babes. I'm gonna back
Yeah.
her. You know?
Yeah. Because she
Yeah.
has her skincare line, and apparently she's a
He's
finance
already done stuff
girly.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, she's an investment girly, and apparently she manages their finances already. She manages all his investments.
Man.
So, yeah, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that about her. Get your
I didn't know that
money.
either. Go
Mm-hmm.
Carmen. Also, way to go, George.
Way to go, George.
Let your girl be like, this is what we're doing, honey. I
I
love that.
know. I know.
Okay. Maybe I'm becoming a George fan.
No, you're
Who would have
not.
thought?
You're not. Don't lie.
I like him off track. I like him off track. Okay.
Yeah.
So those were the shocking like what y'all be signing up for a little bit of a life of misery. Actually, Silva for Max, things are going fine. Like he's not in like contention for the championship, pero no le va tan mal como Carlos at Williams. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's not the same.
I
But
think
man,
Max will
he
get
was hardcore flirting. He was hardcore flirting with Mercedes, and I thought,
teasing.
mm-hmm,
And
ain't
I
gonna
think the thing
happen.
about Red Bull and Max is Red Bull will give Max anything he wants, right? He's like, oh, you don't want to do media? Done. No media for you. Oh, you want to go do every race? You want to do 24-hour Le Mans? You want to do this or that? Done. You do what you want, Max. And I mean, yeah, like I think that's a good deal for him if that's what he wants, right? Obviously he wants to win, but if you can't have a winning team, then at least be somewhere where they let you do whatever you want, literally whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. Speaking of Max, let's get into the race.
ooh, Max, 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 Max.
So on lap two of the race, he crashes.
Immediately.
Um, yeah, and it's like not in a place. One, it's very unusual for him to crash, period. Like at this point in his career, I was like, what happened?
And like, yeah, and all the times he crashed in the previous races this season, it was like a defect of the car system failing. Like
Yeah,
something happened and this like the wing didn't flip or whatever, like something locked. This was, I think,
this
the
was him.
first, yeah, like max mistake that we've seen this race. And it was
Yeah,
hard. It was a hard hit. Like he
I know.
ricocheted
It was a
off
little
that wall. I was
scary.
like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. And it sucks because it was the last time that we're gonna race at Zan Voort. I
I
like
know
saying
his
that.
home
In a
race.
while. I know I feel really bad for him. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't believe I said that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
feel bad
Yeah.
that that happened because a home race is like really important. And yeah, it was just a very uncharacteristic
Mistake.
mistake. What was
But it
interesting
was
is
wet,
that
but it was wet and he
yeah,
was on softs. So, and
yeah,
then Gabby did the same thing like a couple cars later, right? So, like, it wasn't just
yeah.
Max hit the wall really hard.
Yeah, yeah. We did get, yeah, so there was some rain and like some of the track was drier than other parts. So people are saying that's what happened. But um whenever whenever Max is out, that gives like everyone else some opportunity to, you know, make a name for themselves. Which is
Yeah.
it takes out like one of the top contenders. So then like there's wiggle room, right? And there's like opportunity for a podium. So bad for Max, but it works out in other people's favor. Um yeah.
I know. And even speaking of like making a name for yourself, like with Isaac Hajar. So, for those that missed the news, also for Red Bull, Isaac broke his wrist boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Boxing. Ay,
I
este
know.
niño. I'm like,
I was like, your hands are the most important thing you have.
but okay,
Uh,
wait, really quick. When I heard this, that he like had a hairline fracture, I always shit on this person, Lance Stroll. But do you remember when he came back immediately after breaking his hand and he had like fucking pins in his hand? And
yeah.
I was like, that's like a daddy dearest, mommy dearest situation where he did not want to disappoint his dad, and he went back in that car way faster than he should have. Um, but
Well, Daddy Dear
yeah,
is paid
anyway,
for insane surgery like the
yeah.
day after.
Yeah,
Eh,
it was crazy. Anyway, that just reminded me of this, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give Lance Stroll his flowers because homie w- got back in the car with a fucked up hand when he
That's
way
true.
before he probably should have. So I talk shit about him a lot, but I'm gonna give him his flowers for that because damn, that took some cojones. Back
You're
to Isaac.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
That's what
back,
cost Danny Ricardo his seat. It was that wrist fracture.
yes. See? And then, we all know how that went. So anyway, we got to see Yuki Tsunoda sub in for Isaac.
No, he didn't. Liam subbed in for
Oh, who
Isaac.
was Liam? Sorry. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, no, Yuki, but we saw him back in the Red Bull seats,
You're
right? B
right.
carb,
He was back in a Red Bull
B
seat.
carb. He's back at the Red Bull
That's totally
situation.
right. Hey, Liam also
Um,
did a really good job. Like
Liam did do a good job.
I feel like this was a good pendeja, I even have it in the notes right here. Um, he had like a redemption for himself. I feel like he should feel proud of the way that he stepped up and stepped into that
Yeah.
seat. And I also just so like yeah, he should feel good for himself.
I
Yeah.
think so. And I found it really funny that I was reading like what did Red Bull because the moment like this happens and Red Bull is really well known for churning drivers out. So it's like like are they going to permanently replace Isaac Hadjar now with Liam or what's going to happen? And
Yeah.
I didn't find any rumors of that, but I did see this like headline that said, Red Bull was asked like what are your opinions of like Liam's performance? They were like, yeah, he did the best that he could do. That was it. I was like, Red
You
Bull,
know
like,
what?
whatever.
He didn't
I'll
do
take
too
it.
bad. I was
He
like,
didn't. He
hey,
got
good for
points.
him. The pressure could have gotten to him and
Hmm.
you know, because like when he was in that, I mean, when he was under pressure, like I don't think he wasn't doing well at all. But I think
No.
we talked about this like previously, but like the Red Bull now versus the Red Bull, a year or two ago is just a very different culture in terms of like leadership, and it's almost like it's a totally different organization, right? So,
Yeah. And I do
um,
think that Liam has developed as a driver because when they put him in that Red Bull seat, he was kind of still coming off like his rookie years. And I don't know. I feel like having a little bit more stability with B carb and performing well, right? They've been coming in the points almost every
yeah,
week. I think he just like is way more comfortable driving in general. But man, I can't imagine the
Mm-hmm.
pressure of being like a rookie and then sitting in with Red Bull, knowing that they're going to fire you the moment you make a mistake. It's like, oh, I couldn't do it. So props to you,
Yeah, no
Liam.
way. Yep. Props to you. Um, okay. Do we want to talk about Lando?
Lando and the McLarens. Damn. We even mentioned with Emmy that they'd be back, and they're back. They're
Yep.
making a comeback.
Bum, ba-dum. They are.
Lando, I honestly didn't know if Lando was
Impressive.
going to stay in the podium positions because he was, P1 and then Kimi overtook him at the beginning of the race and I was like, "Oh, there goes Lando." But no,
Yeah.
he stayed in the race. He did everything right. McLaren did everything right. Even their weird tire strategy somehow still panned out
Mm-hmm.
better than all the other teams. Also, we can talk a little bit about this, but holy cow, what was going on with the tire strategy this weekend? Like there were so
Oh
many
my
pit
God.
stops. This was supposed to be like I mean, I get it. We had like a red flag, we had a yellow flag, but I was like, wow, what is happening? Anyway, but good on you, Lando. Good on McLaren. I think McLaren is gonna start cutting in on those points
I
really
think so
quickly.
too. You can never really count them out. I feel like you know what gets me about Lando every time is he is terrible at starts.
He
Every
is.
race. I'm
He's
like, there
not
we
good at
go.
it.
But then yeah, and I'm like, I mean he obviously gets a good result in the end, right? But I'm like, dang dude, like if you could just like, you know, get it from the get-go, you wouldn't be
He'd be
having to like
running,
fight your
yeah.
way back.
He'd
Yeah,
be running off with it from the get-go.
yeah, yeah. So I'm always just like, dude, come on.
He'll get it. He'll get it. There was
Yeah.
one thing about I noticed about Lando is he's a very studied person in terms of his self-criticism. Like he always, I think he's he's a good student and he's very consistent where
Oh, tell me
he
more.
where he can be more consistent, he does. Like I always hear like when
Mm-hmm.
he asks his engineers, right, like where can I make improvements? And then he remembers and he'll always like lap
Okay.
after lap you start seeing him deliver on that improvement, on that feedback, and then he picks up the pace and the turn that gave him issues maybe the previous lap. Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna take this line, and I feel
He's a
like
quick study, is what you're saying.
he's a quick study, so he might not be almost like the most skilled, like exciting driver, although he did have the best overtake this race. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's a good student.
There you
And
go. Okay. Okay. I hear you.
sometimes that's all you need. He's like that B plus student that just like gets the straight across B's and he doesn't like fluctuate, but it's enough to like get him like in top positions.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, his race starts like I don't know if it's the car again, like is it the stupid car or what it is? But
I
we've
don't
seen
know.
like
You know what? Good point. Yeah.
because
No,
Kimmy
I
was
think this
also
has always been
struggling
a
with
thing for him. This is
starts.
always,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. I don't know.
Lando, do better at your starts, and then you're golden.
He's like,
Problem fixed.
oh, Lando really enjoyed himself over the summer break.
Yes, he did.
He was
Is
out
his
there.
is his little party boy persona coming back?
I think so. And I was like, you know what? You do you. Everyone else is like boot up. You know what I mean? Or like married, about to get
Yeah.
married. He's out there
No.
living that. He's out there living the race car driver, single man lifestyle. You know?
Yeah,
Go
he
Lando.
is. Go Lando. If I was young, rich, and I would be doing the same thing. I don't know that I'd be booed up unless I had to.
You know? Yeah. Okay. So with so the way that the end raced, I don't have words. The way that the race ended, we had the final standings were Lando, Antonelli, Kimmy,
And then George.
Russell, George Russell. Yeah. Um, which was surprising to me. George, I feel like lucked out because I feel I was like, dang, things just kind of like really, well, he didn't look out. He ended up giving up his position, which we'll talk about. But like in the grand scheme of things, I feel like things started to kind of like move like late, mid to late race. And he was just like, it was like the perfect scenario. And he could have had a second place, but um Mercedes had their drama with um like their orders
Team
for
orders.
team orders. How do you feel about that? Everyone always has like really, or people normally have like really strong opinions. What how do you feel about team orders?
You know, I
And
so
in this case,
I know I'm very biased again towards Lewis. So I was trying to really like step back and listen to the full discourse of from the people that are like pro team orders and like, you need to make the calls. Sometimes you just got to do it versus the like, let them race. Like if you want the position, race your race your teammate. And now I feel really conflicted. I still think I lean more towards I feel like I put this more on the team principal and the strategists than the drivers. It sucks that I feel like the
mm-hmm.
drivers end up taking the heat, for the lack of communication or good strategy from the team as a whole. And
Mm,
so I feel like it puts the drivers in a really shitty position. And I think for me, like if you're gonna be the type of team that you're analyzing where you sit in the championship, where you sit in your constructors, and you want to make a really strong stance of guaranteeing the opportunity for one of your drivers to either be a contender for the championship and put
mm-hmm.
put your team in the best position possible to, get high points in the constructors, you have to make team team orders. Like it's just not possible to not do that. But,
Yeah.
I just feel like some teams because I think there's so much pressure, maybe even from the viewership of like people get really upset, right? That there's team orders and they're like, "No, like this sport is about driving and your teammate is also your competitor. Like you should
Mm,
drive, and if you want the position, you need to overtake them." I also get that, but at some point you got to call it though. And are we at the point of the race schedule where teams need to make a call? Clearly, Mercedes thinks they are
mm,
because I don't think they want Lewis to get any closer in the points than
yeah.
he is right now. But Ferrari is still playing this game of, well, it could be anyone's race. So they're not willing to call it, right? So I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's more accountability for the team principal and the strategy calls that they make.
Yeah.
I was really like I was very baffled, that George actually gave the position. And
He
I
was
was
being a good teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like, what does this mean for him? Does he mean he's resigning to the fact that he knows he's no longer in contention for the championship?
Well, he's no
Um,
longer like the other thing too. I'm like, this kind of proved to me that like he's not their number one driver.
I know.
Also,
That's how I
oh,
interpreted too. I was like, damn.
damn. Yeah, the Wonderkind came up and was like, I'm the master now or whatever. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what I also thought after I just was like, I like George. He he is a good team player, but I was also I think se asustó because Toto was like really in talks with Max, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I'm told.
You know what? You're probably onto something though.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do what they told me because they almost took me out of here. They almost
Damn.
signed Max. I wonder
Damn,
if that's what it was.
you might be right. You might be right. That might be something. Oh, poor George. But look, I do think that
But yeah,
I don't know. And I think there's also a thing about I think it's undeniable that these stupid cars just because a lot of people were like, if you have the pace, then use it and overtake, you know,
yeah,
your teammate. If you think like you're so deserving of the spot because you have the pace and better tires, then just overtake them. These cars don't work that way. Like, I think everyone
yeah.
is coming to acknowledge like they would if they could, but the
Mm-hmm.
battery won't last long enough.
Yeah.
So, like I don't know, but I was very I had never seen Charles in such negative light until this season.
You know what? I'm really starting to agree with Emmy.
Me
Our
too.
friend Emmy, who we do the podcast with sometimes, for those who don't know,
Monoplaza.
like, yeah, I'm like, I really am starting to understand that. But really quick before we move on to Ferrari, this like the team orders for George and Kimmy, while it didn't obviously didn't work out, and like George, had to concede the spot, but like it works out for Mercedes overall. Like
Yeah,
they
they both get points. Both get more
yeah,
points. They stay
yeah,
strong in the
and like
constructors.
yes, and in the driver standings too, like this overall helped them. And like what in like years past when it was Lewis and Valtteri and then Lewis and Nico, I mean their goal was just like consistently being on podiums and either getting a 1-2, a 2-3, a 1-3, like they want to optimize for we've talked about this before too, like they want to optimize for the team as a whole.
Yeah.
And this worked for them. In terms of like driver standings, I'm looking it up so I don't say pendejadas. Oh yeah, here, like Lewis and George are like tied in terms of points. So, I mean, this worked out for Mercedes. And to your
Mercedes.
point, like they don't want anyone else getting closer to like damage their chances at like either a drivers or constructors. So
And
this
I
this
don't think
yeah.
that Ferrari in recent years, probably ever
Hmm.
since, I don't know, Michael Schumacher maybe, um, like, I don't know. I don't feel like they remember that sometimes you have to have team orders to win championships. And I know that Charles is like their golden
Yeah.
boy, but Charles has never been in world championship contention. And it's like, why don't you take a lesson from a 7-time world championship, lean in? And I know it's a lot to ask a driver to humble themselves because these are the best of the best, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, I would have an ego that I would be like, no, like there's a reason why Ferrari keeps signing me. But at the end of the day, it's like, wouldn't you want your team to finally be back in in a position that you say, whoa, like we were so close to winning a championship. Even if you don't win it, but you were just way closer than you have been in years
Well, they
to a
were,
championship.
you
With
know,
who?
but uh
Not with
well,
Carlos
not for
and
Narlos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
Charles.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
It's been a while. What I'm saying is like
Um
it's been a while. And they got to change
yeah.
things up. So I think Ferrari is going to have to change it up in the sense of like make a team call,
Hmm.
right? Pick a driver. You
Yeah.
can't have two best drivers. M- Maybe other teams can afford it. Ferrari can't.
Yeah. You know what? That's true. Speaking of Ferrari and their radio calls, I have not seen Lewis that pissed in a long time.
I know.
His radio messages were like not good, and then like Charles was like not happy either. Ooh.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I think this is totally on the team principle. This is on Fred Vasseur. in not making clear what the strategy was overall. Like the drivers can have their own individual strategies, but they have to
Mm,
be able to communicate in advance. Like, what are we going to do in X situation in A, B, C, D? You know, they have all these plans. I just find it shocking that I feel like they left both drivers hanging out to dry, getting mad at each other, you know, because of the
yeah,
lack of like clear strategy from Ferrari. So
yeah.
I can't even like super blame Charles. Like he did contribute a little bit to like Lewis. I mean, not a little bit, like he definitely slowed down Lewis. Um, and Lewis very strongly felt that had he not done that, that he would have gotten a podium. And I don't think I've seen
I don't
Lewis feel
know.
that strongly. Like he doesn't usually say like if this would have happened, like this would have been the outcome. So I found it a little stark that he
Me
was
too.
that like vocal about it.
And I love my boy, but I don't agree with him. I was like, I don't think he would have been on the podium.
I don't
Um,
know. I don't think so, but I don't know. It's just kind of like I don't know. But he was pissed.
yeah,
He was so mad.
he
He
was
was
so
so
mad.
mad. I was like, "Ooh." When he
But I
was
think
like,
this
"What
goes
am I,
back
your
to,
guinea pig?" I was like, "Oh."
yeah. I was like, damn. I was like, hey, cálmate because no entienden inglés muy bien.
They're probably like, "What is a guinea pig?"
You know? No, just joking. They do understand. But okay, here's the thing though. Like cultural, like from a cultural, like a team culture perspective, I this again goes into Ferrari being Ferrari, where it just Lewis was like pissed about everything with Ferrari this weekend, I think. Like, um, at one point, what was it? They were asking him to pit or something, and he was like, well, you tell me, like you're the ones that have more data. Like, um, and
Yeah,
I
he was
think in like
asking
an
if they
ask
were
like
gonna like, "What tires are you gonna put me on?" And they were like, "Oh, well, we thought like the mediums." And he was like, "Didn't Charles just say they were like really bad?" And they were like, "Oh, I don't know." And he's like, "You, I mean, you have the data. Like, you tell me." Like,
yeah, yeah. In like an after press conference, he was like basically saying like the quickness, like at Mercedes, like the quickness of decision and like maybe like the directness of communication. Like sometimes you have to be direct to be quick. Um, yeah, like that there's just like a thing. So I'm like, like there's something like we were talking about this the other day. Like, ¿por qué siempre lo cagan Ferrari? Like, why are they always shit in the bed with strategy? And it's like, it's even in the way that they go about deploying the strategy on a race weekend. Like when you're asking your driver these things, like homie is trying to drive the car. I mean, there have been multiple times where a driver has been the strategist and the driver, Carlos, over there strategizing his own strategy while he's driving.
yeah.
And I think like Lewis has at times has done that too, but it's like, dang, like you're you're just kind of stacking the odds against yourself when you're putting all of that on your driver and you're not having Ferrari, man, you've come a long way, but damn, there's just like so much that I'm always just like, golly,
I
just
think
sack
like,
the whole strategy team
oh my God, I
and
know.
start anew.
I was like recently I've been paying a lot more attention to Bono, and I feel like so much of the success of Mercedes is because of him. And I know that it's more than the team, and of course it's the drivers, but the way he
You're onto something there.
so proactively instructs Kimmy on where he needs to improve, very detailed, but straight to the point, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
blab, doesn't like it doesn't give Kimmy the opportunity to get confused about what he's trying to say, the instructions, where he needs to improve his pace, where he needs to drive another line. Like he's so concise and clear in his communication. I don't know why like this race was one in particular that I like picked up on it. And man, I how much of the success of Mercedes is attributed to Bono because he is a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic engineer. Like he really is. If you listen to his radio
Yeah.
instructions, I don't know, he's just so proactive. Like he's just on top of it.
Yeah.
He's way ahead of the game. He's one step ahead of the driver. And I just think it has a lot to do with that too.
Yeah. Okay, you just made me think of something else about like the broadcast being different. Are we getting less radio messages?
I feel like we
I feel
are. And
like
I feel
this,
like we're only
yeah,
getting
okay.
broadcast messages only for the top drivers again. So, like, we don't get, the midfield action, which we got more of this time around. But I don't think we get a lot of radio. I didn't even
I
know
don't
that,
think
like,
so.
I didn't get any radio of the Carlos and Alex situation when they were like,
Me
you
neither.
better believe Alex was
Yeah, yeah,
going off
yeah.
on the radio. And so would Carlos.
Yeah.
Y
Yeah.
nada.
I think okay, like to your point about that, I was just thinking, I'm like, you know, I think that's something that's different about the broadcast is like we used to get a lot more I feel like we used to get like a lot more radio messages like they were constantly interrupting like the commentators and
Yeah.
now we don't.
Do you think
Huh.
they're broadcasting less radio because they're complaining a lot about the power units and they don't want to put that like on blast all the time?
Maybe. I mean, shit, like the onboards have like the view the like the driver view that we have, like yeah. You know what? Yeah. Oh, but what does it say? Stefano Domenicali says we don't watch the audience doesn't care. I'm like, what? No, Miss Way, we care.
We care, sir.
This
We care.
this is why your viewership is tanking, sir.
I don't know,
This is
man.
why.
It's wild. Like, yeah, everything's just weird about this season. There's so many weird things going on and I don't know, like I expect better from Ferrari. Everybody does. I'm just here for Lewis. I want him to win his 8th championship. I really hope
And
things it's a big one ahead for them. It's Monza. It's their home race. Like they better
oh
get it
my
together.
God, siempre la cagan.
I know. I know.
I don't like being Tifosi. Like I'm only in this because of Lewis. Like I liked Carlos. I liked Charles. Now I'm kind of with Emmy where I'm like, I don't want to fuck with Charles, you know? Except for his wife and his dog, that's and he's a beautiful man. But I'm also like, I don't know how I feel about him. And
Yeah.
it sucks being a Ferrari fan because you're just it's
Because they
constant
do a lot of
disappointment.
stupid things. They keep
It's
doing
constant
stupid
disappointment.
things.
It's hard out here for us. Aquí ando con cara de pendeja.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Tenemos cara de
Every time I put
payaso.
this, yeah, every time I do this, I'm like the clown face.
Yeah.
Donning my merch. Mhm.
Oh,
uh,
I don't know.
yeah.
What's up with Ferrari? I don't know. We'll see. But okay, let's talk about some like exciting, unexpected points, which was Fernando
Nico,
Alonso,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Nico.
I know. I talked shit
Um,
about him last week with Emmy. So, okay, sorry, Nico. You got the points. You've
I
been in
mean,
this forever, but
we we
congratulations.
we fired both of them last episode. Remember, I was like, Fernando
Yeah.
out, Nico, you're out, and guess who scores points?
But like, okay. Yeah, they grandotes and how many years they've been in this and we're like, good job scoring points. I
Yay,
mean,
you got in the points. I know, but it is a feat
thumbs,
for
yeah.
the Aston Martin. And
Yes, true, true, true.
Nico had a great race. I was very impressed with his cat-like reflexes avoiding Gabby because he could have T-boned him and that would have been
Yes.
an insane accident. I don't know how he
Yeah.
managed to course correct in the thick of the smoke, but I was
Wild.
impressed. Crazy.
Same.
Crazy, crazy.
Props to you. I will give props when it's deserved. So props to
I
you.
know.
Um,
And
and
then
then Gasly.
Gasly came in the
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
points. I know Fernando made him fight for his life. He was being relentless on Gasly, and it paid off because he came in higher points than Gasly did.
Yeah.
Um, What else?
Gotta fight for those points. We had a lot of like DNFs.
A
So
lot of DNFs.
obviously, oh my gosh, obviously Max, because he crashed in the first lap. Then we saw Ollie Behrman, as well,
Yeah, that
and Alex
sucked.
Albon, right? Okay, who else am I missing? There were like six or seven.
I will say Williams pissed me off this weekend.
Tell us more.
They were being ridiculous. I thought we were going to finish the race under a safety car because they're dumbasses were fighting each other at the back of the grid. Like they're already in last position and they obviously got in an accident. That's why Alex had to retire. I don't know. I'm like, what is going on back there? And they didn't show it, of
Oh yeah.
course. They didn't show it.
Yeah, they
I
didn't show
didn't.
that.
And I was just kind of like, what's the point? What is the point of this?
Yeah.
What was going on? Why did they think it was
Well,
smart to like drive against each other?
well, okay, Lewis and Charles did that too at the end. What are you doing?
Oh, I know. Did you see the like little glance that Charles did at the
Yeah.
end? I was like, but that's different in a way because they're not at the back of the grid. It's like,
I know. I know.
why
It's like, come
damage your
on.
car? Why cost your team money
Y-
when you're already in like last place?
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so I'll to round it out, I just pulled it up because I was missing it in the notes. Bottas, obviously Cadillac can't finish a fucking race to save their life. Good God. Poor Cadillac. I really had
I
higher
know.
hopes for them. This is just so, I'm just like,
I
okay,
know.
on this, I'm just like, they're not, I worry for them in the future because they're just not getting enough data to inform strategy for next year.
I know.
So it's just like, damn, okay. And then Stroll was who I was missing. Stroll DNF'd as well. I didn't even see that, honestly. So that maybe was on me. That maybe was on the broadcast. Someone tell
No,
me.
it
I
was
don't know.
100% on the broadcast because my husband cackled. He's like, "Oh, Stroll is out." He's like, "That's funny. Like nobody cares about him. Even the commentators didn't say anything." We were like, "How long has he been out?" They
I
don't know.
know. Yeah. Anyways, so that
Lance,
rounds out. Yeah,
you gotta go.
he's not going anywhere, friend. We know that. Did I say, oh yeah, I did say Ollie and Ocon. Did I say Ocon already? That's who rounded out. So we had for not finishing Albon, Bottas, Ocon, Stroll, Behrman, and Verstappen. Um, yeah,
So
that's
many
quite a few.
DNFs. So many
I
DNFs
feel
every
like
race.
this season we've had quite a bit for like reliability issues. Yeah, like a variety of things. It's been really interesting to see just this constant all the cars like biting the dust.
I know. It kind of sucks though,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
what can we do about it? Nothing,
I,
nothing. No one can
I,
do anything about it at this point.
yeah, I think that contribute. I feel I also, I mean, I'm not like really fans of any of these like drivers. I know you like Alex, but I also like feel for their fans too because you're like, damn, okay,
I mean,
and
you
yeah,
want to see your drivers driving, and it's like, oh nope, he's
yeah.
out. Like, oh,
All right, pack it up.
yep.
Um, okay, well, I think that rounds it out. We have up next is Monza, and that is um oh, what's the dates? September 4th through 6th. So we
Hmm.
again, we have another break this weekend.
Yes.
Why? I don't fucking know.
I
We're on
don't
the same
know.
content. This is what I don't understand. Okay. Ugh, let me get on my soapbox and I'll get off of it. I understand when we have breaks in between races because you're moving to a different continent. That makes plenty of sense for me. Or if you're going from, yeah, like if you're going across the ocean or you're going from like North America to South America, like if you're going from like the US to Brazil or even Mexico to Brazil, that shit's far. I get that.
I know.
We're
Why
on the
do we
same.
wait, why do we have another break? I thought after the
I
summer
don't
break
know.
it was gonna be like nonstop races.
I don't know, friend. Unless the schedule's lying to me, but aquí lo tengo. And no, it says Italy, September 4th through 6th.
What
So
the
what the
heck?
fuck?
I don't
What's
know.
going on?
Was one of the races in the Middle East that we're missing?
I don't know. I thought they already like fixed that. No? See, I can't even keep it straight. I can't even keep it straight. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we
can't
are
keep
gonna
it
have
straight.
another break.
I'm tired
This is
of
too
all the
much.
breaks, honestly. I'm tired of it.
And
We need
here
we
and
need to stop.
well, here's the thing too. Like if you're a casual viewer, which we are not, obviously, we have a whole freaking podcast dedicated to this. But if it's frustrating for us as people with busy lives, imagínate the casual watcher that now has to go and like do a new like streaming in the US. Let me caveat in the US, like you are a casual or new watcher and it's like start stoppy. You can't really keep track of like the schedule. And on top of that, it's like, oh, gotta find a new streaming service to like stream this. You know what I mean? Like
And and
it's a
pay
lot of
for it.
barriers to entry. Yeah.
Yeah, and then pay for it when you're gonna get no races for 5 weeks. It's like, why would anybody have retained their Apple TV subscription, right? It's like, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. It's like, why pay for something when we're not getting the consistent schedule? So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I hope something gets sorted out. I really hate that we're still with an ongoing war in the Middle East that only seems to get worse every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I don't want world peace for the sake of F1, but I do think that, I mean, I know we don't want to get into this, and this podcast is supposed to be like, our fun, like, step away from the heaviness of the world. It's something that brings us so much joy, but it's just so impossible to remove the geopolitics from every
Oh
aspect of
yeah.
entertainment in the world. And F1 is just one of those that, given the global nature of the sport, um, and the money and
Mm-hmm.
influence that goes into it from most of the countries that are in the Middle East, right? That is why there are so many races in the Middle East, is because they've paid a lot of money to present their country in a certain light by
Yeah.
buying races in their country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
all of this is going to keep playing into it. And I don't know. I'm really curious to see after this war what becomes of F1 in the Middle East. Are there other
Yeah.
countries that are going to have to step up that maybe hadn't anticipated the cost, or they don't have the funding for it? Because it's very expensive. It's very, very
Yeah.
expensive for a country to host F1. But if the Middle East can't do it for logistical and geopolitical reasons, like, what will be the countries that are going to have to step up? Like, are they going to cut
What's
more
F
races from the
what's F1
calendar?
gonna do? You
What's
know?
F1 going to
What's
do?
F1 gonna do?
We saw how much they lost in revenue because of the amount of races that they had to cut out. It was like $768 million. And so
Yeah.
it's very costly to F1, to Liberty Media. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see how this unravels besides the sport itself. But it's just like, who's going to have to
Yeah.
fork up the money?
It's so expensive. And then the cities like never really get like that um never really get that back really.
Not in the first year, right? It's like a
No,
long-term
yeah.
return of investment.
I
That's why
mean,
these are like long-term contracts that they sign with cities to host, because it's
yeah.
really expensive and they only get their ROI after a couple of years. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the Olympics, right? Like, I don't know how many countries have like gone bankrupt because they've invested in
I
infrastructure
know.
for the Olympics and it doesn't pay off, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, off the soapbox. Off the soapbox.
We're done. We're done.
We're done.
Come back for more hot takes. It's not even a hot take, I don't think,
That's
but
not
yeah,
a hot
whatever.
take.
Okay, so we are I guess there's no racing next weekend. Boo. But then we'll be back with Italy, and that will be super cool. That'll be awesome. And hopefully Ferrari pulls it together for their home race because, ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío is
If not,
great. And speaking of Italy, I will be in Italy at the end of September and I will be
I
trying to go to Maranello to go to the Ferrari Museum. So hopefully
love that.
I can do
You need to
some content.
you need to record content for
I
real
will.
because
I
I
will.
really want to I really want that. And personally, I just really want that. Yes, that's
Yep.
amazing. That's so great.
Yep.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks
See ya.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.